So someone commented on my role-based planning video saying that this only works if you don't have a 9 to 5 job. Well, I have news for you. Not only am I going to show you how role-based planning works with a full-time job, but I'm going to prove it actually works better for 9 to 5 workers than entrepreneurs. So I developed this entire system while working full-time with a young daughter before I became a full-time entrepreneur. And this method didn't just help me manage my time better, but it also helped me to discover which role brought me the most fulfillment, which ultimately led me to completely pivot my life. So today I'm walking you through exactly how to make this work in your real life. Here's what nobody tells you about time management when you work full-time. You spend 8+ hours focused on someone else's priorities, and your energy crashes after work, and weekends become this overwhelming catch-up marathon. But here's the thing. You are already doing role-based planning without even realizing it. So you have compartmentalized work from life every single day. So the secret is not planning more time, but it's planning the right energy for each role. So I call this 3-zone system. Zone 1 is high energy. For example, like early mornings, right after work, if you're still energized, and weekend mornings. Zone 2 is medium energy, like during lunch breaks or early evenings. And zone 3 is low energy, such as during late evenings or after a very stressful day. So here's how this looked in my actual life when I was working full-time. My high energy morning is the time where I made my daughter's lunch while my husband handled breakfast. 2 people working is always faster than only one person. During my medium energy, like during lunchtime, I usually just bought my food at the cafeteria in the morning, and during lunchtime, I heat it up and ate at my desk. This was not me being antisocial, but this was my admin time. I was doing other tasks that involves other roles, such as paying bills, researching for the new fridge that I wanted to buy, or registering my daughter to the new class. While that being said, I did go out for lunch with my colleagues on alternate Fridays. So this was me being intentional, in which I do make time for the roles that I have listed in my planner. So to fulfill my role as a wife, my husband and I would deliberately meet at a cafe nearby after work whenever we could. So it could be once every 2 weeks or sometimes once a month, depending on our schedules. So after spending 8+ hours in work mode, we both needed this buffer before jumping into parent mode and household responsibilities. So this became our sacred time. No phones, no distractions, just two of us catching up on life. So when you match your roles to your energy levels, you stop fighting against yourself. So you start working with your natural rhythms instead of against them. This is why role-based planning actually works better for 9 to 5 workers. You already have these natural boundaries and compartments. All you need to do is further compartmentalize your life by looking at your roles and finding the time and opportunity to fit in the roles that you play according to your importance. So now you are probably thinking, this sounds great, but how do I actually set this up for my own life? So here's your step-by-step action plan. So I'm going to give you the exact framework to implement this, plus the system optimization that will save you hours every week. Step 1 is list your roles. Don't overthink this. Write down every hat that you wear: employee, spouse, parent, friend, daughter, homeowner, whatever applies to you. Second step will be track your energy for 1 week. Note when you feel most energetic, medium energy, and low energy. Don't try to change anything yet. You just observe your patterns. Step 3, match your roles to the energy zones. High energy gets your most important or demanding roles, and medium energy gets admin and planning tasks, and low energy gets maintenance and connection activities. So, next is where most people stop, but this is where the real magic happens: system optimization. So, first up, you need to look for batching opportunities. For example, I wash and fold clothes once a week, and I check my emails at a specific time in a day. You might batch all your phone calls on Tuesday or do all your meal prep on Sunday. And secondly, is invest in skills that save time long term. I spent 2 weeks learning to type properly, and now I can type 110 words per minute, which puts me in the top 1% of typists. As someone who writes emails, reports, and does admin work daily, this skill saves me hours every week. So, third is identifying your time wasting patterns. For me, it was opening container after container in the fridge looking for ingredients. So, I labeled everything and I organized them in the fridge by frequency of use. So, when something frustrates you repeatedly, and that's your signal to create a system for it. So, fourth strategy that I would suggest is to consider strategic investment. For example, a dishwasher saves you 30 minutes a day, a dryer eliminates hanging and weather dependency, and I also have a kitchen appliance called Thermomix that cooks our meal while I can focus on other things like helping out my daughter with her homework or cleaning up the kitchen. So these are not luxuries, but they are time buying tools. So let us be honest here. Your job is not always predictable. Some days you are energized after work, some days you are drained. So during this time, focus on the roles that you can control. Have backup plans for different energy levels. The beauty of role based planning is flexibility. You are not failing if you adjust, you are just being realistic. For example, in my pre weekly planning, I have already pre planned the task for each day. But when my energy is no longer the same as I expected, I just take a look at other tasks that I can move forward and push the one I can't to other days within that week. So remember this: every small system improvement compounds over time. And that 2 minutes saved finding spices becomes 12 hours saved over the year. And this is not about perfection, but it's about awareness and intentional choices. But here's what I didn't expect when I started this system. And it's the real reason I'm sharing this with you. When I started role based planning, it became my path to self discovery. When you start planning by roles, you quickly realize which ones energize you and which ones drain you, which ones you are excited to plan for, and which ones feel like obligations. So, right now, you might be living like the character in the movie Click that was played by Adam Sandler. He was on autopilot mode all the time. He was fast forwarding through life without really experiencing it. But later, he regrets it because he was focusing on the wrong thing in his life until it was too late. However, fortunately for him, he was able to go back and mend his way because it was only a dream. Unfortunately, this is real life. We don't have a remote control to rewind and start over. But role based planning, that's your pause button. It forces you to be intentional about every area of your life. So once you discover which role brings you the most satisfaction, like I did, you might find yourself pivoting your entire life just like I pivoted from full-time employee to entrepreneur. For me, it was realizing that roles involving teaching, creating content, and helping others organize their life gave me the most energy and fulfillment. So, this is not just about better time management, but this is about discovering what actually matters to you, what energizes you, and potentially reshaping your entire life around those discoveries. So, the time management is just the beginning, but the self-awareness is the real transformation. So let us recap what we have covered. So the 3-zone energy system works better for 9 to 5 worker because you have already compartmentalized your life and use the 3-step framework: I gave you an optimize your systems to save future time, and most importantly, pay attention to which role energizes you the most. Everything I just shared today is just one part of this larger framework for working mothers who want both career success and family happiness. I want you to remember this. You are not behind, you are not doing it wrong. You just need a system that works with your real life and not against it. Start with 1 week of tracking your energy patterns and see what you discover about yourself. And who knows, this simple planning method might just help you to discover your true calling, like it did for me. So now, if you're wondering how to actually rank your roles when they all feel important, especially when you feel guilty about putting marriage third, like I do, that's going to be my next video where I break down exactly how to prioritize roles without the guilt. But in the meantime, if you want to see the full story of how I developed this system and why I stopped following traditional planning experts, watch this video right here. I will see you in my next video. Bye!